Hey guys, this is Chris.
And this is David.
And we are here to introduce you to our first mini-series. It is our Commissioner Candidate mini-series. And we are here to talk to you a little bit real quick about what you're about to listen to.
In this episode, you're going to hear the candidates for the District 3 seat on the Augusta Commission. The people in this episode are Mr. Robert Cooks, Miss Catherine McKnight, and Mr. Sean Mooney. District 3 essentially traces a path on either side of Walton Way, Wheeler Road, and it goes as far south as Gordon Highway. So it's a lot of the Somerville area, Lake Forest area, a lot of residential areas. There is also a fourth candidate that is running for District 3 that is not in this episode. Her name is Lori Miles. We never were able to confirm with Lori Miles. And just one more note before this episode starts. All of these interviews took place long before the current situation that is going on with coronavirus. So none of them are going to talk about what's going on right now. And the reason is because none of this stuff was happening yet. We brought them into our studio to ask each one of them the same 7 questions. And our goal is that hopefully by the end of this episode, by the end of each set of questions, you guys at home will get to know each candidate a little bit better, and you'll be able to make the most informed decision possible. And now, without any further ado, Mr. Robert Cooks.
So we are here with Drop the Disc podcast with our mini-series, our Commissioner Candidate mini-series, and we are here with
Robert Cooks.
Robert Cooks, and you are going for District 3?
Yes, candidate for District 3.
Awesome. So we have 7 questions for you, and I'm going to start it off, or no, you start it off.
I'll start it off. Okay.
Yes.
So we've got 7 questions for you, Mr. Cooks. It's the same 7 questions as everybody else, and hopefully we get to know you along the way.
Sure.
So question number 1, softball, underhanded. Can you tell us a little bit about your background relating to the city of Augusta and why you've decided to run in District 3?
I am an Atlanta transplant by way of Delaware, California, and Arizona. I relocated here in 2000, moved my family. Augusta has been a phenomenal city for me professionally, and in particularly for my family. The cost of living, the amenities, the lack of traffic have been great as far as my family is concerned. Professionally, I work in real estate development, and I started renovating downtown Augusta 20 years ago.
Wow.
So I've seen the growth, I've seen the expansion, and I've seen some of the political mishaps that have made me interested in participating in the process.
Got it. Okay.
Question number 2. How long have you lived in District 3, and what are your favorite places to spend time? Family, friends? We would like to know.
I've lived in District 3 since 2000, so 20 years, basically. My favorite places to visit, I'm a sports buff, so I go to most of the high school events, baseball, football, basketball. I'm in and out of the gyms and all the sports facilities for most of the schools in the county. As far as entertainment, of course, it's the movie theaters, and, I'm not a big social drinker, so taking my wife out to eat, simply District 3 has been where we've stayed, and we classify it as the best place in the city because you're 15 minutes from everywhere.
Right.
Now, this next question is about how the government interacts with the private sector. So the private sector, and you can look at downtown, you can look at District 3, and you can see the private sector making a pretty big difference. Building businesses, adding places to live. But another thing that we've learned is that the private sector can't maintain that without working with the public sector. So in terms of that, as commissioner, how would you work with the private sector and how would you work with small businesses?
My background is I've served on planning commission for the past 12 years. And in serving on the planning commission, we've made zoning decisions that support both private business, public business, institutional business, so that we can benefit the entire county. We've made changes to the ordinances so that businesses can operate easier. And those changes have been, for example, no developments moving forward can have one way in, one way out. They've got to have two forms of ingress and egress. That is best for the community, but also for the business community as well. That way people can get to them and provide access and so on. I think District 3 as a whole has been the fastest growing portion of the county. And it needs to be serviced completely.
Question number 4. Knowing the structure of how the current commission works, teamwork is essential to create positive growth. What do you think you will bring to the table?
I think what I bring to the table is knowledge and experience in the function of government. By no means am I a government person. I'm a more private industry personality. My decision-making is based on simple things. Does it meet the mission? Is it ethical? And is it legal? And my mentor taught me that if you can answer yes to 2 of those questions on any decision, you'll generally make a good decision in most cases. With our current structure of government and the personalities involved with the government, I've found that being able to listen, provide input when necessary, and also remember that we're making decisions that affect the constituents of the community is critical. And a constituent is either a business or an individual, family, person, or place.
Now on the topic of growth and change and the private sector, the population of the city of Augusta is changing demographically. The average age of somebody that lives downtown now is closer to 26 to 35 years old than the older generations. What changes would you make to the city of Augusta to benefit that generation of people? And do you feel a connection with that generation of people?
I believe I do feel a connection with that generation of people. I've lived across the country and been in Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and I've seen examples where, for example, in Philadelphia, they have what's called First Friday, like we have here. But what they do is they block off a segment of downtown completely. No cars, no transportation. If you're caught in there after 5 o'clock, your car stays for 24 hours. But the benefit is people can walk the streets and enjoy downtown without having to worry about traffic and transportation. You can walk the 10 blocks or whatever it is to enjoy the environment. I think we need to have a more aggressive strategy on making downtown a more entertainment zone. Not so much the stuff that's down on the lower end, but family-oriented entertainment, more curbside, restaurants and retail. I think we need to expand our ordinances for food trucks so that food trucks don't need to have a restaurant location. They can just have a truck. I think that would be better for small business. I think that would attract more folks. And if we said, every third Friday is going to be food truck week, and we got trucks coming from all over the area coming here, would be great.
Yeah.
That's just an example of what I see. So,
question number 6 is a little bit out of the box. Think outside the box. If the commission received a $1 million grant to use on the city any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
$1 million grant to use any way I wanted to. Well, first of all, it takes 6 people to make a decision. with the commission. So that's the first important thing. You got to lobby folks to your ideas and sell your concepts. I think $1 million should be used in, a portion of it should use being branding and advertising for downtown Augusta. If you leave Augusta and you drive around, you see Charlotte advertises in our area, Charleston advertises in our area, Atlanta advertises in our area. We need to do a marketing campaign to bring people to Augusta. That's the first thing. Second thing is we need a branding strategy that's going to make people remember Augusta. We're not just the Masters, even though it's a great component for our community, but something else. Augusta is the best place to live. I tell my friends who live in Atlanta, they ask me, when are you going to move back? I said, never. Atlanta's great. Charlotte's great. Charleston's great. But the best place to live is Augusta, Georgia. The quality of life, the cost of living, the ease of getting around, even with the growth. Traffic is not bad. The school system needs some work. But overall, if you're invested in your family and you're invested in your children and you are participating in your local community, the growth of our community will stabilize and keep growing. We've got to embrace the growth, embrace the opportunities we have, because the window is not going to be open long.
All right. And actually, so you're kind of getting at the last question already. So thank you.
A great lead.
Yeah.
So the name of the show is Drop the Diss, and we refer to that as in dropping the diss from the city of Augusta. So refuting negative things about the city, growing positive things. Mm-hmm. What does dropping the diss from the city of Augusta mean to you personally?
People who've never been in hyper growth communities do not appreciate what Augusta has. And dropping the diss is simply accepting the community we have, working to make it better, and pushing and selling what we really have. Like I tell any young person, they all want to move to Atlanta and Charlotte. I said, it's great. But when you go to start a family and you want to stabilize your family, Augusta, Georgia is the place. That's just my opinion. And if we don't convince folks that that is what we're about, if we don't sell the fact that this is a great place to live, I mean, it's phenomenal in comparison. Our taxes are relatively low for what we offer. Our community is relatively safe, other than the hyper exaggeration of what really happens. I think our media is jaded. To the perspective of, because of leadership or the culture of our leadership, they want to magnify everything and make it seem as though things are worse than they are. But in a moderately sized city, we don't have as many problems as people want to believe. I think we create fear. I think we need to embrace this community as it is. Augusta, Richmond County is not Columbia County. Columbia County is a bedroom community. We are not. 90% of the jobs are in Richmond County. If you sit and watch at the Richmond County line, folks are coming in and they're earning their money here and they're taking it out to the suburbs. That's fine. I like Columbia County, but I love Augusta, Georgia.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. We have concluded our 7 questions. And so now this is a time for you to tell the listeners how to get in touch with you. And if you have any shout outs that you'd like to anybody.
Oh, I'd like to shout out to my wife and my kids. I mean, that's the first thing. Yeah. Family first, you know. My Sarah's my Sarah. My wife's name is Sarah, and she's a educator. She's been teaching for 26, 27 years. And she's a talented woman who doesn't get enough credit. And to my kids, you know, stay smart, stay strong, be safe. That's the most important thing. And to my team, thank you for being on my team. You know, running for office is a hard thing. You have to expose yourself. You have to let your guard down. You have to reach the community. You have to be honest and earnest and try to share who you are as an individual, as your vision for the community, how you plan to lead and establish policy so that folks can feel confident that what you're going to represent is a community as a whole. I mean, we are an urban and a suburban community. So my experiences professionally have always been in both of those environments. So when in running for office, I said, well, why not bring my skills to Augusta Richmond County government? Make a difference for those who look like me, who look like all of us, so that our community is a rising tide, so that all boats can rise. It's important that we see the growth of this community. One of the things that I think that Augusta needs to do is embrace its diversity, embrace its cultures, its subcultures. We're the city that has education downtown. We've got a municipal government downtown. We've got medicine downtown. We've got a military downtown. We've got Fort Gordon. I mean, we've got the recipe for a great, great, great community. And if we focus on the negative all the time, which the media tries to do, what are we selling?
Yes, sir.
What are we selling? Are we selling a great place to live, or are we selling control?
So, Mr. Cook, if somebody's hearing all this and they're supporting you and they want to learn more, how do they contact you? How do they get in touch with you?
You can call me direct, 706-533-1352. I don't run from contact. I'll have a conversation with anybody. I'll help anybody. I will support anybody if I think it's right. If it meets the mission, it's ethical, and it's legal, we can make it happen.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. We genuinely do appreciate you sitting down. You gave some gratefully insightful answers, and I hope that you have helped the people listening to connect to you.
I hope so too, and I hope we drop the diss.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, that was the voice of Mr. Robert Cooks, running for Commissioner of District 3. Coming up next, we have Ms. Catherine McKnight, who is also running for Commissioner of District 3.
Hey guys, this is Chris with Drop the Diss.
My name is David. I'm a co-host of the Drop the Diss podcast.
We do this together, and we are here on our Commissioner Candidate mini-series.
That's right.
And we have with us
Catherine Smith McKnight,
and you are running for
Commissioner District 3.
Awesome. So we have 7 questions that we want to ask you.
Right.
And David's going to take the odds and I'll take the evens.
That's right. And all the commissioners have been asked these, or the candidates have been asked these same questions. Nobody has been prepared. So everybody is on equal footing here. Now, question number 1, it's a softball for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself relating to the city of Augusta, and tell us why you decided to run for District 3.
Let me start off by saying thank you for having me today, this afternoon.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I was born and raised in Augusta, born in 1972. My parents decided that we would move out to Columbia County, and I would go to school out there, but I always
What school?
I was at Bel Air Elementary and then Evans High School.
Got it.
But I always had a lot of involvement, best of both worlds, with Augusta, Richmond County, Columbia County. I was involved. I played a lot of golf, and so anyway, had a lot of friends in Augusta. I consider Columbia County and Richmond County, when you look at it, Augusta is big. So I say I've been in Augusta pretty much all my life.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But no, anyway, I have been in District 3 for about 26 years, have 3 children. They were born and raised in District 3, and I love it here. I have a passion. The reason why I am running for District 3 is because I feel like I can make a change. And when I say I feel like that I can work with District 3 and everybody else in Augusta to bring about good change. I also have a lot of experience. My dad was a commissioner, and I learned a lot from him. I went to some commission meetings on occasions, especially after he was out of the hospital. I would go to meetings, but the past year I have been attending just about, probably all meetings except for 6. And I've learned even more. I want to run because I feel compelled because of my children. I would like to see them come back to Augusta one day. A lot of children these days that take off to college, they don't want to come back to Augusta. I feel that we as a community should offer something for our younger group to want to come back. I want to see my children come back here and hopefully live here. I have a passion to serve others. I do feel that pronouns in Augusta are all about my and I. That needs to be changed to we and us. And that is what I would like to do. I would like to see that we all work together.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer. So you mentioned that you lived in District 3. You've lived in District 3 for about 26 years, correct?
Right.
So that kind of goes into this second question that we have, and you've answered it, the first part. The first part of the question is...
How long have you lived in your district?
How long have you lived in District 3? The second part of that question is, what are some things that you like to do in not just District 3, but in Augusta in general? What are some of the places that you like to eat, places you like to go hang out, good times, whatnot?
I tell you, I enjoy playing golf. I run a good bit. I like to run over at the canal. And I would like to see more people going out and running and riding bikes. I enjoy going out to eat around, I call it Midtown of Augusta.
Okay.
But I love Italian food. So the best Italian to me is down here at Luigi's. And another great place is Oliviana's. Luigi's is downtown. Oliviana's is in what we call mid-town part of Augusta. And then there's also a great place going out in District 3 off Wheeler Road. I'm trying to think, Giuseppe's.
Giuseppe's,
But I tell you, one of my favorite places is T-Bones. I love Italian, but if I want a good steak, I go to T-Bones.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Insider information. Going off of that, our third question to you, the private sector makes such a positive impact in the city of Augusta, but we've also seen that the private sector has trouble sustaining growth for long terms without help from the public sector, from the government, from the commission. As a commissioner, how would you work with the private sector to help grow Augusta and help grow small business?
Well, I would definitely try to get other commissioners on board, explaining to them that we all need to work with our private sectors. That is what keeps us going. And absolutely, I am for working with private sectors all around Augusta. That's what keeps businesses going. That's what brings in people. We need private sector businesses in order to keep Augusta going and moving. If we don't support our private sectors, local businesses, then I feel like we're going to be in a mess. We will not be able to move. We need to support them and do the best we can to work together on the commission in order to see not necessarily new businesses, but businesses that are being maintained that are here now. Keep them going. Support the owners that own these businesses. Go out and talk to them and see what we can do to keep businesses going and keep it moving.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So, just to keep us up on date with what question we're on.
We're on question number 4.
Question 4.
Right.
Knowing the structure of how the current commission works.
And we kind of touched on this with you a little bit beforehand.
Yes. Teamwork is essential for positive growth. What are you going to bring to the table?
Transparency, a level playing field, fairness, and bring a new face to the commission, and definitely work with everyone together. I know that there's a lot of people out there that have said, oh, that can't be done. It can be done. You get the right person, right people in there to work and sit down together and find a way to work and bring something to the drawing board and agree, be able to agree and work as a team we're not against one another. We need to be for each other. We need to work together. And when we can work together, our city as a whole will be able to work with us too.
So I don't usually do this, but question number 5. I don't usually announce the question number. That's usually Chris. So the population of the city of Augusta, as you know, you've been here for a long time. The population of Augusta is changing. Jobs are changing. Millennials are coming in and taking jobs. Old jobs are leaving. Old situations are leaving. The average taxpayer downtown is a millennial now. Do you feel like you have a connection with that millennial demographic? And what ideas to improve Augusta do you have for millennials?
Well, I will say this. My children I've got 2 of them that are 21 and 22.
Got it.
I don't know. Would you consider them millennials?
I think they're Zoomers.
They are Zoomers.
Okay, Zoomers are Zoomers.
Gen Z.
Apparently, Zoomers are cooler than millennials.
Yeah, I think they're cooler.
They call us boomers. They're wrong.
Anyone's
Anyways.
a boomer over the age of 25, right?
Okay, boomer.
Right.
No, let me ask y'all.
Yeah.
Because I'm 47, and yes, I believe that, like I say, we've got a lot of we want our young people to come out. We want them back here.
I hope so.
Because they bring businesses. I will say this, I'm 47, I don't know what we call my generation.
I don't
What is
either.
it, Generation X? And maybe,
I
don't
think
know.
so. I think you might be Generation X.
No, but in order to attract young people, the millennials, having jobs, we've got to be able, I feel like we need to do something to make it more exciting for them. I hear a lot of young folks say, Augusta's no fun, there's nowhere to work. That can be changed with working with the commissioners and finding a way to bring not just new jobs, but even what's existing and making it fair game for all. And knowing that the younger generation, they're going to be coming in, and we need to bring what we got, we use it, but we use it in a way to bring young folks here and give them something to look forward to and let them start running businesses and helping out here.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right. Question number 6. And this is a fun question.
This is fun.
This is
This is
guys.
think outside the box kind
Right.
of question.
So it might not be fun depending on how you like thinking outside the box. I don't know.
This is the most fun question we have in this entire interview. So take it for what you want.
Okay.
Don't take it for granted.
If the commission receives $1 million grant, a $1 million grant, a lot of money, to use on the city any way they want, doesn't matter what district, is the city of Augusta, how would you use that money and why?
Assuming that you could just snap your fingers and do with it what you desired to do.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do it alone. I would have to have 9 others.
Right.
And we all figure out a way to use that $1 million. I don't think, I would say that we've got a beautiful river along here, and people they like to come downtown. They would love to be able to walk and feel safe down on the river. Do something down here to bring everybody down. But I also would say this, Augusta is a big place, and I would like to say that I would work with the commission and we all do something and spend that money in different parts of Augusta, different areas of Augusta. Maybe not just one place, but break that up and do something in different parts of Augusta so that everybody gets involved and everybody's allowed to be fortunate enough to come and enjoy Augusta. But spending $1 million on one place, I would work with the commission the best way I could.
Okay.
Excellent.
And that goes back to teamwork, right?
Teamwork.
Okay. And so this last question. The name of our podcast, the name of our show is Drop the Diss. And the reason for that name is because our goal is to figuratively and literally drop any bad thing that somebody would say to diss the city of Augusta, right? So from your perspective, if someone comes up to you and disses the city, if someone
Disgusta.
Right. If someone comes up to you and disses, talks down about the city of Augusta, what would you say to that person?
first of all, I would ask them, well, have you lived in Augusta? Have you visited Augusta? If you haven't, you need to come here. Let me take you and show you the good parts of Augusta. There's always something here. That disappoints me to hear somebody that would put Augusta down, especially if they do live here and they're saying, disgusta, I don't like Augusta. Well, then guess what? Maybe if they went off somewhere for a little bit and come back, they'll learn, they'll appreciate. And I know the older I've gotten, the more I appreciate Augusta. And I believe that if anybody wants to bash Augusta, then obviously they haven't been around the good parts of Augusta that they need to travel around here.
Okay.
Or they need to get involved, and I hope like heck, if they're talking down about Augusta, first of all, I'd want to know, do you vote or not? Because if you don't vote and you're talking down about Augusta, you need to be out there. You need to vote, because if you vote, then you have a right to be able to voice your opinions.
Of course.
But yeah, they need to come around and
they need to get involved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Excellent. So we're done with questions. We can all breathe. I'm just kidding. But we want to give you this time to kind of, how may the listeners on this show get in contact with you? Is there a website, Facebook,
phone number,
whatever you want for them, however you would like them to contact?
The floor is yours.
First of all, may call me any time of day. I don't know if I give out my phone number, but I tell you the best way to get in touch with me is my website. Look at my webpage, and that's www.catherinesmithmcknight.com.
Got it.
And that's Catherine with a K?
With a C.
With
Catherine
a C.
with a C.
Old-fashioned, C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-E.
And it's M-C-K-N-I-G-H-T McKnight.
Catherine Smith McKnight.
Got it.
McKnight.com.
Excellent.
How else can they get in touch with me? Mail me a letter at P.O. Box 2619, Augusta, Georgia 30914.
Okay.
Not everybody looks on. That's one thing I've learned throughout this experience. Not everybody gets on social media. Talk to a lot of people. My mother doesn't even do social media, so some folks will mail letters. That's old, but they do. They mail or just simply pick up the phone and call me. I'll be glad to talk, and always enjoy having a cup of coffee or meeting people. So I'm always open for.
And is your number available on your website?
If it isn't, I can give it out. 706-294-0652.
Excellent.
Love to hear from everybody that wants to ask me questions or get to know me. All for
excellent. And is there anybody that you like to shout out?
Yeah. Anyone been helping you?
Anybody you'd like to thank for where you are now?
I want to say this. I thank my dad. He's no longer here anymore, but I know he would be proud of me, and I want to thank him for giving me this opportunity to want to serve Augusta. I want to thank my mother and my dad too for bringing me up and raising me in a good environment. Great. They raised me to set goals in a great city. I love them. I got my sister who is my best friend, family, children, friends, a lot of supporters who I'm grateful for, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming and having a good time with us.
Thank you.
Catherine, thank you so much for being here. Former teacher, you told us, family person. You've been in public service. You go to the commission meetings now, and you have spent time with us today. You have taken time out of your busy schedule, and we can't appreciate you more for being here. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, both of you.
Once again, that was Catherine McKnight, candidate for District 3 Commissioner. Coming up next, you'll hear the last interview of this episode. It's Mr. Sean Mooney, our third Commissioner candidate for District 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Drop the Dis.
Our names are Chris.
And I'm Chris. Damn. that
Dang, you really didn't get that, did you? Our names are David and Chris. We're happy to come with you guys today. We are coming at you right now with a second part to our new series, a mini series that we're doing covering the candidates for the districts 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Is that correct?
Yes.
Elections. Be on the lookout for Chris's promotion that he will have posted about a month ago.
Yes.
Today
All right.
we're with...
My name is Sean Mooney.
Today we are here with Sean Mooney, candidate for District 3 Commissioner for Augusta, Georgia.
That's right.
And with no further ado,
We are going to start.
we're going to ask you some questions.
I love questions.
So question number 1, I'll lead. Tell us a little bit about yourself relating to the city of Augusta, and tell us why you decided to run for District 3 Commissioner.
Great question. So I was born and raised in Augusta, Georgia. I am a first-generation Augustan, actually first-generation American. My mom was born in Ireland. My dad was born in Canada. I have a twin sister and an older sister and an older brother, and literally Sarah and I are the first two born here in the United States, and luckily here in Augusta. Augusta is my roots. It's where I was born and raised. It's where I've settled down with my family. I've got 2 kids and a lovely wife. I have a passion for this city. Growing up here, I learned a lot about it. I think we've got a lot of assets here. In college, I think you guys hear this frequently. In college, it's, you kind of have the opportunity to go anywhere. I decided to stay in Augusta, but I traveled extensively with the study abroad office. And every time I would go on a trip, I would always come home to Augusta. Augusta was always home. And so I'm very proud of my city. Being the father of 2 kids is one of the reasons why I decided to run. Mainly because when my kids get to the age to make the decision as to whether or not to put down roots here in Augusta or leave, I want to make this city so awesome that the choice is easy for them and they stay.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Question number 2.
Sure.
How long have you lived in District 3? And what are your favorite places to go? You mentioned your family. As a family, yourself, you and your wife, what are some places that you like to go here in Augusta?
Sure. I actually have lived, I did the math the other day, and I think it's like 83% of my life I've lived inside District 3. There was a short stint when I lived across on the other side in Central Avenue, which was actually in District 1, but I could have thrown or done a 90-yard lob wedge to District 3. So the majority of my life I've lived in District 3. I'm passionate about District 3. I think it's District 3 is strong. Relatively speaking to a lot of the other districts, we have our issues may not be as intense as some of the other issues that we face. That's not to say we don't have our issues. We do. But I think one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about being a member of the commission is that as a representative of District 3, you represent the entire city, and we have issues on the entire city level that we need to solve.
Awesome.
Beautiful. And speaking of, I guess, solving issues, making positive impact.
Sure.
The private sector, especially in the Augusta area, seems to have been making a really positive impact recently.
That's correct.
But historically speaking, the private sector isn't able to lift a city by itself. It requires help from the public sector. Sure. So our question number 3 to you is, do you plan on working with the private sector when developing Augusta, and how do you want to work with small businesses?
That's a really great question because I am a small business owner. I have a small business in downtown Augusta. When I started off that business, there are a lot of things I knew and a lot of things I didn't know. And there are actually a wealth of resources here in Augusta to help small businesses. I'd like to expand those. I think that I've got kind of 3 main tenets, and the second one is that I want to support and foster the businesses we already have, but also draw in new ones. I was listening at a commission meeting the other day, and Tax Commissioner Stephen Kendrick mentioned, we have programs in place to bring businesses who are investing $5 million or more. We have those in place. If you're coming with more than $5 million, we have packages in place to help incentivize you to bring business. We don't have anything like that for under $5 million. And a lot of small businesses are trying to start up here. And if we had packages in place to help them out with that, we'd see a thriving small business sector.
Question number 4.
4.
Knowing the structure of how the current commission works, teamwork is essential to create a positive growth. What do you think you bring to the table?
You guys are great. I like this. That's actually my first tenant. I've worked with a lot of the...
PSA, we did not know the tenants.
Yeah, that's true. I've talked with a lot of the commissioners to understand, why they vote certain ways and what it's like being a commissioner and how to get things through across the finish line. I think a lot of times the media picks out the fact that they're just bickering at each other a lot.
Right.
And it's true. A lot of times they do kind of bicker back and forth, but that's their job. Their job is to kind of battle it out and decide what's the best move for the city of Augusta. A collaborative commission is paramount. We need to be working together to move the city forward and not against each other. Mm-hmm. For me, I feel as a small business owner, I'll have a business sense that I can bring to the commission, as well as a little bit of a youth perspective. And I hope with those two lenses, hopefully we can kind of build a more collaborative commission.
It's interesting that you mentioned the youth perspective.
Oh.
Question number 5. The population of Augusta is changing right now.
Yes.
Jobs are changing. Millennials are really entering the job market at a large rate. Older people are leaving the job market. Older things in the city are leaving and potentially dying. The average taxpayer in Augusta is between the ages of 26 and 35 years old. Mm-hmm. Do you feel you have a connection with that demographic? And what ideas for improving the city do you have for the millennial generation?
So I definitely feel like I have a connection because I am one. Being 33 years old, I'm squarely in this sector.
Just made it.
Yeah, just made it. Yeah, so 35 I think was the taxpayer, right? So I understand their concerns. I think this city is attractive to that demographic, that age group, but we could do more to make it even more attractive. Mm-hmm. We have a thriving arts culture here. We have, we're close to a lot of different things. You're only 2.5 hours away from pretty much anything. Atlanta, we have great flights from Augusta to Atlanta, so I'm not really worried about that. But, you can go anywhere in the world within 2.5 hours, basically, of this city. And I think we've got a lot of strength. So specifically to your question, what can we do to help those people feel like they're actually a part of this city? I think we have to continue to kind of think through the amenities for them to make their city attractive. What are we providing them as a city? A lot of unanswered questions on that one.
Excellent. All right, question number 6. This is more of a think outside the box kind of question. If the commission received a $1 million grant to use on the city any way you wanted, you could do anything with it, what would you do with it and why?
I would immediately go and repair the lock and dam. I would just go down there and I'd be like just shoving $1 million bills into it and fixing it. No, honestly, truthfully, I think one of the largest struggles we're going to face, I think it would be awesome to fix the lock and dam the way it is and save the pool, because the pool is vital to the success of the Savannah River region, the central CSRA, right? It's part of our identity. And a 19-inch drop in the pool level is not acceptable. 13 if you go to, I think, 2-6B or something. I can't remember. There's like 48 different versions of it. But, is that an acceptable tolerance? I'm not really convinced it is. So if I had $1 million right now, I would pay to help repair that lock and dam and keep it, maybe make an endowment and make sure it's always repaired.
Got it.
Excellent.
And one more question number 7. Our name, the name of this podcast is Drop the Dis. Our goal is to drop the dis from the city of Augusta. What does that goal, what does dropping the dis from the city of Augusta mean to you personally?
I cringe when people say disgusta. And luckily I haven't really heard that a lot lately because I think the tides are shifting. I think with the the influx of people from cyber who are, planting their roots here and understanding the city, I'm not so sure that Disgusta term is even relative anymore. I don't really hear it anymore. So to me, I think it's kind of a gone era. And I hope that it continues to stay a distant past. So that's what dropping the disc means to me.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, thank you, Sean.
Thank you very much
Thank
for your
you,
time
guys.
today.
We also want to ask, is there any way, would you like to provide any way to
Contact you, get involved,
get information about you? I see that you have a website.
I do, yeah. So you are all more than welcome, and I highly encourage you to visit the website. It is www.mooneyD3.com. That's MOONEY, D as in dog, 3 as in the number 3, .com. On there, you'll find all of the information about our campaign, where we stand on issues, a little bit more about me. Also, you can find where the next event's going to be. You can go ahead and reserve a yard sign on there. You can also make a donation on there. There's a lot, but I highly encourage you to go there. We also have a social channel set up, both Facebook and Instagram. And you'll probably, if you live in District 3, you're going to be seeing us soon. We are canvassing every weekend from now until May 19th. So hopefully you'll see me. Hopefully you'll have a chance to engage with me. But if not, go to the website. You can also contact me in my email. It's Sean, SEAN, @mooneyD3.com. So
Beautiful.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming out.
I appreciate it.
Thank you to Second City Distillery for hosting us. We very much appreciate it. We're in the lovely tasting room.
It is a lovely tasting room.
Right.
It's beautiful.
And with that, we're out. And one more time, that was Mr. Sean Mooney. So included in this episode is Mr. Robert Cooks, Ms. Catherine McKnight, and Mr. Sean Mooney, all candidates for Commissioner of District 3. We would like to thank all of these people for taking the time to interview with us. We know that working a job and running for commission at the same time is crazy, and managing life and making time for us, we really appreciate it. We do know that Sean Mooney and likely the other candidates will not be canvassing anytime soon, but please do go to their websites, do look them up, and do try to get involved and get to know them as well as you can. Of course, we can't end this episode without thanking Nancy Powell for supporting everything that we do. Nancy Powell runs her own brokerage firm downtown Augusta. She is a real estate genius. She is a member of the Chamber of Commerce. She's very well connected, and she has just helped us out so much. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you so much to Second City, and thank you to the candidates. We're hoping and wishing all of our listeners top safety, top healthiness in this time, and we will continue to be in your ears as often as we can be. And one last time, if you guys do like this series, please let us know. Shoot us a DM on Instagram or Facebook at Drop the Dis Podcast. You can email us at dropthedispod@gmail.com. Let us know if you think this is cool. Let us know if you have an idea for a mini series that we could do in the future. We'd love to get your thoughts. Thank you so much.